Welcome to Cycling Conversations with inGamba, where we celebrate the art and the culture of the sport, the rhythm, the ritual, and the refinement that surrounds it. inGamba means in the know, and as with our cycling tours, these conversations are meant to bring you behind the scenes in our world. This is a space for when sport meets elevated living, where a former pro racer dissects the brutality of racing a classic, followed by a cycling CEO sharing their favorite spot for a post-ride Negroni. Along the way is our creative director and award-winning cycling photographer James Startt, who joins me, Molly Hurford, to unpack the cultural currents shaping the sport and the destinations that make it so beautiful. To learn more about our award-winning bike tours and to join us, visit inGamba.pro or the link in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to Cycling Conversations with inGamba. I am your host, Molly Hurford, and today we are joined by two incredible Kates. We have Kate Veronneau, who you may know from the Tour de France Femmes, avec Zwift. She is the woman behind making that tour happen. She's an incredible cyclist, fan of cycling. She goes way back with inGamba, and we got a chance to sit down with her at Sea Otter Classic and chat about her recent trip with inGamba. That's right, Kate Veronneau joined us in Calpe for an amazing Women's Week earlier in the year, and she was joined by inGamba's own Katie Boling, and the two of them just put on such a wonderful, inspirational week of just having the best time in the sun on the bike in Calpe. And so much fun, actually, that we are doing two more upcoming trips. We have one in the fall at our spiritual homeland of Lecchi in Tuscany, Italy. That's going to be a fantastic women's trip. And then we are going to the Algarve in Portugal in January for another women-only trip. So if you want to learn more about that, we are chatting about that with Katie and Kate in this episode, or you can find out more at inGamba.pro. Just look up the women's trips. I will also include a link in the show notes. Now, let's get into this first chat with the one, the only, Kate Veronneau. I am so excited to get to do this in real life.
This is the best. This is the best.
Which, I mean, okay, let's just get right into the inGamba trip, because in real life is really the point with that, right? Like, you got to go on this trip to Calpe, you got to ride with, our friend Katie Boling, but also just like so many amazing women. Tell me about how it was.
Oh man, it was incredible. I didn't know what to expect. Generally you get 16, 17 women in a room. It's going to be fun. It's going to be loud. It's going to be joyful. We had such a great mix of people, and coming from different places, coming for different reasons, and the synergy and just the general energy throughout the week was so fabulous. It was just lovely people. Wonderful shared time and conversations and lots of laughs and just getting to know people in that way. It took me back to I played sports my whole life, and like team camps. It was a team camp.
Oh,
like that team camp vibe where by the end of it you have inside jokes and like you just like know these weird things about people, and you've had some deep conversations, and you've shared in a way that you just don't get to in our day-to-day interactions.
Oh, I love it. And okay, so inGamba's whole thing is like, it's very much like the pro experience, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like akin to a pro training camp. You've gotten to kind of be behind the scenes in so much pro racing for the last few years with Zwift, with the Tour de France Femmes, avec Zwift. So is it?
Oh, it was next level. I have not had that experience. Even when I raced like pro, the women didn't get that experience back in the day.
I was going to say, yeah, you and I have recollections of racing pro where it was like, here's a van.
Yeah,
and it's like a nice van. It's a minivan.
Yeah,
it's someone's
and one of your partners has to drive it.
Yeah.
No, but this was so cool because you just like walked out in the morning and your bike was there ready to go. Your computer was on, the route was loaded. Your tires were perfect. It's sparkling clean. You have a beautiful table out of everything you could possibly ever need for your ride. It was amazing. I mean, it felt so, it was like you could just focus on the ride, and it was very relaxing to get up and just sort of walk outside, and you could put stuff in the van if you needed, so you didn't have to worry about, weather or anything. It was like, it was just really liberating. It was a
Ooh,
wonderful experience.
I love it. Okay, what was your favorite ride or ride moment? Was there like a climb or like a
Mm.
view or like a moment on a ride where you were just like, ah, this is the dream?
Yeah, I think, oh, what was the best moment? We were doing that local climb that is, oh my God, I'm going to forget the name of it. I'll think of it in a minute. Oh my goodness, yeah. The climb that all the pros train on in this like, quintessential, training ground of Costa Blanca. And it was to see all these women that a bunch of them had not ridden in Europe before. And so to see them taking in the views and each switchback getting a better view and the smiles, and nobody was whining, nobody was complaining. Everybody was like in the moment, enjoying the climb, going at their pace. And it was kind of euphoric. And it just, it's like, in the brochures and, when you're watching, the Giro or the Vuelta or something, and that's what you're seeing. And now you're on this climb and enjoying it. And it was nice to see people experience that for the first time.
Oh, I love it. For you, it must have felt awesome. You're, bopping around Europe, doing at all of these races, doing all of these events to actually just get to ride your bike.
Yeah. It was the best week ever because I really didn't have any responsibility except to really just be there, connect with people, get to know these women. And we had some real superstars. We had one woman that was like High Rocks world champion. We had the age ranges was probably 40 to 68 or 69. The riding quality was phenomenal. Everybody was really good riders, but everybody got to go at their pace, and that just made for a wonderful day. That nobody felt like they were outside their element, like being held back or holding people back. They did a fabulous job of putting everybody where where they need to be to really get the most out of the day, and everybody comes back and just had the best ride ever.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And okay, you get back, and
Mhm.
then there's the food. I
Yeah.
have to ask, best meal of the trip.
Oh man, we did this one meal that we went off campus for. We went out of the hotel and drove up a climb and had basically a restaurant all to ourselves. The whole thing was booked out because I don't think it opens yet because this, it's a seasonal restaurant and we had it all to ourselves like a week before they were opening. And it was like I don't know, 8 or 9 course meal, all shared, beautiful wine pairings, like giant table. It was like the stuff of dreams. It was really cool. A very uh, intimate with the chef that was, the chef of the restaurant was there with us, like talking through how he came up with the ideas for these dishes and
I can
gave
see
so much more
like
layers to just like a meal. It was truly like a culinary experience. I mean, I felt like I was like, yeah, on a food trip as well. So that was cool.
I think that was what I realized when I went to
Yeah.
Italy with inGamba. Like, oh my gosh, every meal was
Mhm.
a presentation,
Mhm.
and the drinks. We
Yeah.
have to we have to give a nod to the drinks.
Yes.
Like the wine, just next
The
level.
wine was sensational. Yeah, the wine was really good, really good. And I don't know that much about wine. I know what I like and don't like, but to learn a little bit and to be able to taste like a bunch of different regions and get a little bit more insight and background to what we're experiencing was really, really fun, and educational.
I love it. Okay. And then obviously before we let you go, we have to talk about the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. It's coming up in, a couple months. I imagine your schedule is getting more and more hectic as time goes on here. But what can fans look forward to? What are you like the most excited about for this
Oh,
year?
definitely Ventoux. But this course this year, this route, starting in Switzerland. So we like, on Lake Geneva, the views are going to be spectacular. And we've got some really good Swiss riders right now, and like Elise Chabbey and Marlon Reusser. Like, so that's going to be fire. That's going to be, and these are their home roads. And then when we go to Ventoux, I'm so excited to see the women conquer this iconic climb with massive fans all alongside the road because the day before the Ventoux stage, there's the L'Etape du Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift that goes up Ventoux. So 12,500 cyclists 27.5% of which are women, are going to be in town and then on the mountain the next day partying for the race. So we're going to see just those iconic scenes of, the fans just lining the roads. The excitement's going to be really high and the fireworks are going to happen. And then we end in Nice with, again, like it couldn't be more of a scenic route. It's just, it's really, it's going to be a very special, special 9 days. I can't wait.
I'm so excited. It's been so cool seeing the progression of even race photography when I think about it. Like you just mentioned how many people are going to be on that climb for the women's race. And I think that's what we've been seeing happen over the years, right? There's like, it's getting more crowded. Yeah. There's more fans.
Yeah.
The roads are lined.
That's the biggest difference. Like what I get to see on the ground, that's the biggest difference. And you can imagine it blew up last year with Pauline.
Oh,
because, everybody came out to see Pauline. And so like, before it was like, okay, when you go through the towns and villages, there'd be big packs of people. But last year I was in a race car one day, the whole course. And I mean, 4 years, 4 different winners. The 5th edition of this is going to be electric. So everybody has to watch the film.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Kate. It's always lovely chatting with you.
Oh, it's the best. Thank you, Molly.
All right. If hearing from Kate Veronneau did not convince you already to head to inGamba.pro to sign up for one of our amazing Women's Weeks that is coming up in the fall, Katie Boling is about to convince you. In this audio interview, she and our co-host, James Startt, are chatting about the trip, about what she has done to bring more women into the cycling world along on these tours, and really a little bit about what happens behind the scenes with inGamba, some of the places, some of the food, some of the drinks, some of the reasons we ride. This is such a fun conversation if you are curious about what it's like to lead this many bike tours. Katie has your answer.
We are with the one and only Katie Boling, who has been with inGamba for, I don't know, how many years have you been with us, Katie?
It's crazy, but it's going on 8 or 9 years. So
Wow.
Happy to be here. Yeah, love it. Happy to be talking about this with you today.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, I haven't been there for 8 or 9 years, but I've been there more like 8 or 9 months. But one of the first things I saw and we discussed was the potential to have more women on our inGamba trips. And one of the, I think, big successes in this first year I've been here is that the numbers of women joining our inGamba trips have gone up by like 5%, 6%. Or we're doing over 30% women on our trips now, which is allowing us to have specially dedicated women's trips and all kinds of other things. It's really been, that's been one of the most exciting things for me being here at inGamba.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the year with just generally like a more higher female presence in our community. I know we've wanted to embrace that for many years, so it's great to see it coming into fruition. And obviously the addition of women's specific weeks, more female solo travelers out in the world, which is something I'm very passionate about, is wonderful. More couples doing trips together. So there's many contributing factors, but it's great to be in this place.
Well, you mentioned the women's weeks because we have several now, but we just had our first one in Calpe in early February. It wasn't our first because we actually had one several years ago, but this is the first of the return of the Women's Week. And I was there for a couple days, and it was, I got to say, I mean, there was an energy there. There were several women that said, we're so glad there's a Women's Week again for us now. And if there's more, we'll be on more because this is really what we're looking for. And Calpe was a great way to start off. I mean, it's a new destination for us in some ways, but it's a well-known one if you're an international cyclist. And it was one that was very well appreciated, I thought.
Right. No, the week in Spain was fantastic. And yeah, I know that Calpe Denia area is a gem for the European landscape of cycling. So it was just neat to be there with inGamba. And then, a great collection of women as well.
Yeah, we had 15, I believe, didn't we? 15 women?
Yeah, it was
full up.
It was very full. It was sold out, and 15 guests. And then of course, it was really neat to host it with Kate. and, you know, have like kind of watch the femmes and that energy part of the trip as well. And should back up and, you know, say we did have some women's weeks in the past year at inGamba that were kind of organized by Heidi Swift, which was neat. And with the pandemic happening, those were just paused. And then it took a little bit of time to kind of bring this energy back. And the Calpe was like such a wonderful kickoff for it. And as you mentioned, 15 guests from a variety of locations. We had women from the Pacific Northwest, California, Vermont, Vancouver, and Chicago, Iceland, London, Switzerland. It was just like the energy was epic. It was super neat, and it's great to have that type of highlight that we're starting the year with, and then bringing, you know, that forward. So
Yeah,
great.
it was super positive, and Calpe it was a great place to start. It's a great place to kick off any season. I mean, it's the reason why so many professionals, men and women, go down there. The weather is about as good as it gets in Europe at that time of year. It's very reasonable, and the climbing is reasonable too. I mean, there are climbs, but none of them are like overwhelming. So you know, it's not like you're going up the Alpe d'Huez or the Mont Ventoux in January or February. You know, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kilometer climbs, and the pitches of them aren't super hard. So if you want to, you know, like go hard, you can. But if you're, you know, if you're just easing into the season, you're not going to be, you know, overwhelmed or intimidated by the riding either. And I think so. It was just a great place to start off.
Yeah, certainly. And a couple of those times, like on those really wonderful, you know, gradual climbs and the stone monuments along the way, and like a really nice, like just kind of pavement of ribbon, if you will. Like so many times I kind of looked up and just smiled, and the ride was wonderful. Obviously, the culture around cycling is fantastic to be a part of, and another thing is that, you know, how much all of these women are pure and very heartfelt cycling enthusiasts, like wanting those epic rides, challenging themselves up the climbs, enjoying the coffee stops, of course. But yeah, just like very dedicated to solid riding, and you know, a couple of different paces within the group, which was great. But like just kind of feeling that high energy of like a happy depletion at the end of the ride, and then moving into another part of the day. So,
Yeah,
so neat.
the group was pretty homogeneous. I mean, there's always, you know, different groups that form along the ride and along climbs and descents and everything. But you know, they all stayed pretty well together, and we were going at, well, not we, but you guys were all going at a pretty good clip. It was a really it was just a nice pace, a nice group. Nobody got left behind, but everybody you know, came in you know, fairly well together. It was just it was a great group.
Yeah, yeah, it really was. It was quite special. And that last day, we kind of got into this habit of having a couple of post-ride beer, or, you know, water, what have you, whatever you wanted to have, sitting in the sun at the hotel. And on that final day, I think it got windy out, so we kind of moved into the lobby of the hotel, or sitting by the bar, and I think we stayed an extra hour or what have you. Like it was just the relationships that were formed, the bonds, the community. It was just this really great, happy, warm spirit, and then mixed with this, again, like this essence of we're athletes, and having this really special week together. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a super positive vibe. And then, I mean, the hotel's great. There's plenty of space to relax in different areas, and you know, pro teams are at the same hotel with us on any given week. So I mean, it's as good as it gets, I think, for Calpe in January, and was just a huge success. It was such a success that we kind of finished it and said, okay, what's next? You know, and we started saying, well, we got to do another one this year, and we're going to start making this a regular for inGamba. You know, at least you know, I would hopefully twice a year at least. You know, and so we're going to have our second one in our spiritual home, if you will, in Chianti, in Lecchi, in our B&B there, which is one of my favorite places for any cycling trip. But we're going to be returning in the fall, and I can't wait to see that group as well.
Right. That was neat, coming back from the trip and trying to rally around a next one, and thinking, why not? Like, let's add another one for this year. And of my 9 years or so here at inGamba, Lecchi and what we do in Tuscany is my personal favorite trip and program. So it made sense to do one in the fall when, it's so lovely there then, and get another one on the calendar. And then obviously we've also chosen to extend it and added the next one for early 2027, which we can talk about later. But yeah, the one important thing is that as I'm inviting women to be part of it and ensuring spreading the word that we're doing this again and having that part of just our messaging right now, I also am telling people, hey, you don't have to do a women's specific trip. Some people, you don't have to do a ride with all women. You're welcome to go on any of our trips, and like hopefully empowering more solo female travelers to get out there and choose a trip. And if you want to bring a friend or invite a friend, what have you, maybe learning which of our trips have more women on them. But the goal again is like, okay, if you want the specific women's trip, that's wonderful. But the goal is to just lift up women as part of our sport and environment, and obviously then get them a community and having a variety of options for them to be part of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and they haven't. I mean, the very first trip I did, at the when I joined the team, we had 3 or 4 women. One 30-something-year-old. She was probably the best cyclist in the group, to be honest. Just a tremendous rider, very smooth, great descender. And then we had a couple that came on that trip. On just about every trip I've been on, there's been a nice mix of women, be it individual travelers, friends, traveling together, or on occasion couples. I think most of the trips I've been on, that percentage has been pretty consistent, and it just makes for a nice trip. It makes for a nice mix, a lot of, a variety of conversations, whole lots of things, and it's just been super positive to see the growth in numbers for us there. And but if you do come on this, on the women's trip, we had a special jersey on the last trip for the women's to celebrate them, and there's all kinds of incentives to do that as well.
Yeah, that was a great jersey. We had like a nice, like really lovely pink as part of our women's program. So hopefully that's here to stay. And yeah, you're right. Like it's really fun. Obviously, part of the inGamba experience is a lot of time around tables, around the coffee table, during the ride, lunch, dinner, the happy hour. And I love seeing, a variety of life represented within our groups. I think it makes like the conversation more rewarding, more opportunity to connect with people, listen, learn, develop new relationships. And there's so much of our time now that's spent in front of screens, and it's really nice to just remove that and be real people together doing things that we love and in a really nice setting. So, and having women be part of that is just a reflection of life. So it's so great.
Yeah, I just was at the Flanders week, and I'm always reminded every time I come to a trip. It's like how quickly and easily each group forms and bonds and becomes one. I mean, within the first ride, by the second ride for sure, it's like, most of the people could be your neighbors. I mean, it's just there's something familiar, and somehow, I don't know if it's a DNA within inGamba or what, but it's every trip I've been on, it's like the groups are super easy to kind of come together. And the only problem is the week goes too fast, and all of a sudden, we're Thursday going on Friday, and it's coming to an end. But by that point, everybody's already talking about their next one. Speaking of next ones, we already have also our first Women's Week in 2027, and that's going to be a great one. We're going to a great place. Where are we going, Katie?
Yeah, we're going to the Algarve region in Portugal. So 2 great options coming up between Tuscany, our inGamba home, and then early 2027 in the Algarve region of Portugal. As some of you know, our team is largely composed of Portuguese, and so I think any opportunity to go to Portugal with inGamba is out of the world, like first class and first rate, and kind of feeling behind the scenes. And I know the team that's developing the itinerary and the hotels, they know the region so well. obviously they're excited to be part of this momentum with the women's program. And I think we're going to all be in for a treat. And I will say, this year was the first year that I've had an inGamba trip in Europe early in the season. So this was a mid-February trip. And looking back on it myself, I wanted to be arriving for the trip in fairly modest fitness, with a little bit of fitness, nothing crazy. But it was really nice over the winter to have this to look forward to. I've mentioned that many of the women on the trip were from winter environments, Vancouver, the Pacific Northwest, Boston, Chicago, Vermont. So of course there is a little bit of concern. Okay, I'm riding inside, but it's really nice to have that week to look forward to, keeping you motivated, inspired to do some riding, to keep some fitness, and then to start your year with something like this, and then come home and be able to like go into springtime with that experience all behind you. I loved it. It was the first time again for me having a European trip at that time of the year, and I thought it was fantastic.
Well, I've done several trips, and it's interesting because like the first trip I did in June last year, I came in really good condition, and boy, I haven't been able to match that since I've again. And every time I come on a trip, I wish I was in better shape. But then you use it to get in shape, and I always come out of the trips in better shape. And especially in February, I did a trip the week before, I believe it was, and I went into it even a little sick, and I'd only ridden a couple of times, but I came out of it a lot better and kind of set me up for the next few months. So there's always you're going to get something out of a week on the roads with inGamba, if you're hammering off the front or if you're just kind of working yourself into form. And
and I feel like with that, maybe inGamba isn't for you if the only thing you want to be doing is have your head down riding miles. Train out your backyard with that if you're looking for like this epic, big volume week, and focus on your power numbers and what have you. I mean, part of the inGamba experience, I think, is like, okay, take a look around you, enjoy the environment where you are. And you're in Spain, look up a little bit and, stop and take that in, breathe that in, enjoy the coffee rests. And it's not always we're rushing. And again, we want the good workout, we want the push, but you are an environment that, that offers so many special things, that can't be replicated in your home environment. Ride around, stop and take the photo.
I saw you stopping, and there was a lot of photo ops, be it the orange tree orchards or glimpses of the sea or whatever. I mean, it's a pretty lovely. It's just a lovely area to ride in. But that said, we have minimum 3 guides with us on any trip. I think we had 4 on that one, and so there's always room for all kinds of levels. And I've been on trips where there's some guys that are or ladies are really strong hammering off the front. We always cover that, and then but there's always somebody to ride in with the the later groups. So it's there is room, but yeah, I mean inGamba, it's eat up the miles and drink up the culture. It's about both. It's about having great rides and having great conversations at the table and seeing a little bit of the culture. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to both the Lecchi trip and because like you, it's one of my favorites, and then also that trip in Algarve, because I think any time to go to Portugal is a good time to go to Portugal. And I did that in September. I did the northern Portugal trip, which was just amazing. I mean, you could actually sometimes count the number of cars you saw on one hand in the first hour or the first morning. It was amazing. But then just last year, a year ago, I actually covered the tour of Algarve, where you guys are going to be. And, that was stunning too. I mean, just you're all along the southern coast. It's the best weather you're going to possibly get in February. It's green, the plenty of whitewashed villages and everything. And it's special too. I mean, it's a great country to discover. There's so many corners and regions to discover. And obviously as home to inGamba, we know it well, and we do a lot of kind of trips. So I'm really glad. I think it makes a lot of sense that we're going to be doing our first 2027 women's trip in Algarve. I think it's just a great solution, or not solution, but a great way to celebrate that. And I mean, the food is great down there. everything is great down there. So it's going to be a wonderful trip.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be my first time riding there. I went to Lagos for spring break in college when I was studying abroad in Spain, and I just had such wonderful memories. So now to be looking forward to being with the inGamba team there, knowing the experts in terms of putting the trips together. We're going to cover some great coastal miles. I know we'll do some climbing inland, and like you mentioned, those whitewashed villages. I'm so eager to have this experience.
Yeah, I might have to join you guys on that one. It's that's going to be a heck of a trip. So anyway, listen, with that, I thank you for joining us, and I can't wait to see more women's trips evolving. We already have, as we just said, 2 on the calendar now, and it's been one of the kind of most exciting things about being part of inGamba in the last year is seeing this evolution and this rise with women on our trips. It's just been a lot of fun and really exciting.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Watch the Femmes, get out, ride bikes. Let's go see the world, ladies. Thank you.
We'll watch the Femmes. All right, you take care, Katie, and it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us for Cycling Conversations with inGamba. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode, and we hope to see you on the bike soon.